Here, look at more at the adults. Hopefully kids don't have a leaky gut. Some of them do, and we need to repair it. We look more at adults when we look at gut, though. So healing the gut, incorporating good food choices. So we'll talk a little bit more about food choices here later on, but things that specifically support enteric secretion. So the different things that are secreted within our gut, within our digestive tract, that SIG-A, the IgA that naturally the body makes, we want to support that. We also want to support the lining. And then we also want to have good intestinal flora. We want to have good bacteria in there. We want to have good healthy cells composing our digestive tract. And then we also want to eliminate poor food choices. Things that can be potentially allergenic, especially if we know we have leaky gut. We don't want to be eating things that are going to leak through. We're never going to be able to eat again for the rest of our lives without having a reaction to. Allergen sensitivities, and food for pathogens. You know what bacteria love? They love sugar. They love simple carbs. So those are things that we want to avoid, especially when you're sick, but you want to cut down on them just in general to begin with. So what is pictured over here is a specific kit that Metagenics offers. What it is it has a product called Endorphin, Ultraflora Plus, and then also vitamin D, which we'll talk about vitamin D here in a second. What they're doing, we actually caught this at a good time because they're offering a discount for this month for people who are interested in doing things to repair their gut. And the kit, I believe, is available for about 20% less than it is normally. So, like I said, the Endorphin is really kind of to help with this, the enteric secretions, and also support the lining. The Ultraflora Plus, that's our good bacteria. We're going to talk a little bit, I should say, this is what I'm going to talk about. We can actually take good bacteria into our digestive tract so that it populates it and grows. That way we can't have bad bacteria growing within our digestive tract. So that's why it's important to do some sort of probiotic. And also the D, like I said, very important just for overall immune health. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. But it all comes together in a nice little kit with a little how-to book, which I actually have one printed out here. It's not a very nice copy, but you can take a look through it and kind of see what the program entails. It really goes through and outlines that 4R program where we're kind of restoring the gut. We're going to wipe out whatever's not supposed to be there, and then we're going to start rebuilding it. So that's really what this looks at. So if you're interested in that, we don't have any of the kits on site here. We wanted to see if there was going to be any interest in it. If you do have any interest in it, talk to us about it afterwards, and we can write your name down and look at getting that taken care of. So, detoxification. I don't know if anybody came. I did a detoxification seminar, I believe, in April, which is posted on the website, on our Facebook page, and also on YouTube if you want to go through and look at it, and you can kind of check it out. But detoxification goes along with our immune function, because if we're having a lot of toxins leaking through, we have a lot of immune dysregulation. So that's why it's important to make sure that we are detoxifying properly. Liver becomes very important, liver, kidneys. The fact that we can take all these things and break them down is important, but we also need to be able to pass them out of our system. So, also very important. Fasting, and I put in here in parentheses, autophagy. Fasting kind of goes along with detoxification. I'm not a big fan of fasting for a long period of time, but a day here and there is actually really good for our bodies. It kind of resets the mechanisms. A lot of research is coming out on this. It resets the mechanisms that go through and break down things in our body that's not supposed to be there. That autophagy essentially means we're eating ourselves, but it means we're eating the part of ourselves that doesn't need to be there. And then we're better able to eliminate it. So it kind of helps reset the body's thermostat on autophagy, so to speak. The ability to kind of go through. Your cells are constantly going through living and dying. It doesn't really matter. You know, they're constantly being reproduced and they're constantly dying. We need to take care of those ones that are dying, get them out of there so that we can make room for the new ones that are growing. That's where autophagy comes in. So that's why fasting, I've heard some people say fasting 1 day a week is actually really good for developing longevity and living for a longer period of time. So you can, again, go online and look at some of the research on that. Very interesting stuff. Stress management. Stress goes very strongly with not only our immune system but also our nervous system. Something called psychoneuroimmunology. I know it's a big long word. You break it down, psycho. We're looking at more the mentality. Neuro, we're looking at the nervous system. Immune system, immunology. So these are all very strongly tied together. If you look at some studies out there, and I just kind of talking about them here really briefly, people who have stresses in their lives, they have loss of a loved one, loss of a job, these people have significantly reduced immune function. They go through and measure different levels of white blood cells and immune, the cytotoxic T cells, and see that it's depressed. On the converse, people with a positive outlook on life take time for relaxation and kind of take time for themselves and laugh. You know, they have a good time with their lives. They aren't constantly worried about what's going on in the world. These people have enhanced immune function. Not only that, they have enhanced immune systems. These are all very important things for health and longevity. So, really what we're looking at here is adrenal hormones and sympathetic dominance. We look at parasympathetic and sympathetic function, which I'll look at here in a second. It's very, very important in our nervous system, keeping those things balanced, because that's what controls everything. All of our automatic functions, breathing, heart rate, circulation, our immune function, all of our reflexive things that we don't have to think about, it's all controlled by this. So if we're driving towards the side of being stressed out, it's not going to be working as well as it could. So the severity of the stress that we're experiencing is directly proportional to how much immune depression we have. The more stressed you are, the lower your immune system is going to be. The less stressed you are, the higher your immune system is going to be. That's really what it comes down to. So this is looking at the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. I know it's kind of small for some of you sitting in the back. Sympathetics, increase heart rate, blood pressure, sweating. You're going to decrease your gastric secretions and your motility, or how fast you move things through the gut. So you can see where this is just unhealthy. This is good in a short period of time. Dr. Lindholm taught a whole class on stress here earlier this year, also with Diana too. So, and this was really a lot of what he talked about, how this is going to be bad for you. It's going to be negative towards your life. Whereas if we can shift more towards being parasympathetic, that's going to be more positive. You can see here, when I skipped, decrease immunity and healing. When we're constantly stressed out, our body isn't worried about healing. It's worried about, let's get out of this situation that we're in, and then we'll deal with the stress. But unfortunately, some of us are just in constant stress on a daily basis. Our body never gets a chance to recover. So this is kind of looking at a little bit more picture diagram. Resting and digesting, fight or flight. That's what it comes down to. We need balance between the two, but we want to be predominantly here. Okay? Sleeping. So many people these days do not sleep long enough. 79 hours is really what they're recommending these days. Anything less than that is bad. Anything more than that is bad. Sleep helps to dampen stress. It also helps to enhance our immune mechanisms. That's why one of the reasons it's so important. You're going to have better parasympathetic activity. We just saw resting and digesting. Sleeping is very strongly parasympathetic. Exercise. Exercising 5 to 7 days a week. This is going to give you good circulation, so that your oxygen is going to be properly passed to your tissues. You're going to have proper nutrients passed to your tissues, and you're going to be removing wastes. You think about it, this is not something that doesn't require any energy. All these cells need energy, so we need good circulation to not only be able to get the blood cells to the area they need to be, but they also need to have good oxygen. They also need good nutrients to be able to carry on their functions and then eliminate the waste that they create. So exercise is very important for making sure that our circulatory system is functioning the way it needs to. And it also makes sure that we're balancing our nervous system. Exercise is a controlled sympathetic reaction. So we actually drive our sympathetics and then we relax them. We move more parasympathetic. That's why it's important to exercise. You kind of, like I said, it's controlled. So you know that there's an end to this stress, and your body's going to naturally kind of calm down and respond to it. Here at the bottom, you can see me. This is me adjusting my little nephew, Jason. Regular adjustments starting. This kid has been adjusted since he was pretty much born. So very exciting to see. But they help to not only enhance your brain function, but through that, they enhance the communication between your brain and the rest of your body, including the immune system. So, very important. Part of optimizing immune function is also has to do with diet. So, part of the 4R program is you change your diet pretty intensely. So, it's not for everybody. It's for those people who want to live good, long, full, healthy lives. So, It's difficult to isolate any specific food that is the magic bullet that's just going to automatically heal your immune system. Everybody wants to say, I have this is going to take care of all your problems. It's really hard to make that claim because everything that we ingest is so complex. It's not just one specific isolated thing. So I like to suggest to people a diet that's rich in whole natural foods. So we're not eating just parts of foods here and there, we're eating whole foods. And when you can, I always like people eat organic, free range, you know, whatever that entails, because that's going to have the least detrimental effects on your body, your immune system, your detoxification systems. Something that's low in fats and refined sugar, because this is what bacteria love, and this depresses your immune system function. The study I read said 100 grams of sugar reduces your immune system function for 5 hours following, and pretty significantly. So that's a lot of sugar to intake in one time, but people do it. So getting good protein and good fat, adequate amounts of those, because those are very important for building our cells and keeping us healthy. That's where I say variety is. Everybody wants to say don't eat fats, don't eat carbs, don't eat this, don't eat that. You need all of them. You just need them in good amounts, not too much one way or the other. Avoiding processed food and chemical additives, because this put chemical stress on our bodies. Our detoxification systems are going to have to take care of them, and a lot of these things get incorporated into our cells. People don't realize, they just think these things kind of pass out the other end once I eat them. This is actually incorporated into your body, whatever you take into it. Whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So that's why it's important to eat good, or eat well. Some specific supplements here. We're getting close to the end. We're getting to the supplement part. So again, difficult to isolate a specific nutrient that is the magic bullet to healing the immune system, because it requires all of this. A good multivitamin, omega-3 fatty acids, very important. Vitamin D. I was just reading a study about vitamin D helps to enhance our Th1, or our cytotoxics, so the things that are going to attack our cancer, things that are going to attack our autoimmune cells, and it's going to depress the Th2 response. It's going to drive the other one more. And that's why, if you read some of the research, or if you heard anything about vitamin D these days, they're pretty much saying it's good for everything. I mean, it's cured cancer, it takes away all sorts of autoimmune diseases, and pretty much promotes health and longevity. That's why it's very important to take vitamin D, because we don't get a lot of it up here, unfortunately, in this part of the hemisphere. So that's why vitamin D is very important. Your antioxidants here, A, C, E, and selenium, ACEs. That's how you can kind of remember them. And we have a specific supplement called Oxygenics, and it has all those in it in very good amounts, so that you can take care scavenging these free radicals that happen in our body, the products of bad oxygen in the body. So we also have vitamin C. Everybody knows vitamin C is very important for our immune system. It's anti-cancer, antiviral, antibacterial. So very, very important. We have a specific supplement called Ultra Potent C, which is a very good supplement. We also have this one called Immucor, which has Immucor. It has pretty much everything in here on it, except for everything that's in the good multivitamin. But it has a lot of our antioxidants. It has a lot of vitamin C in it, and it also has some zinc and the minerals that we need. As you can see down here, iron, zinc, magnesium, needed for everything. These are very, very important mineral supplements. They go into the immune system, they go into the production of all your hormones, all your neurotransmitters. These are very, very important things. And then here at the bottom, selenium. Ultra, ultra important. I've heard a lot here recently about selenium and how it enhances glutathione. Glutathione is one of the most potent antioxidants that our body makes. And they've had great results. I've heard of one guy who's helping people with autoimmunity. All he's giving them is selenium and upregulating some of their other enzyme systems. Or I should say glutathione creams. So very, very, very important for everything. So.
Does selenium come in any foods, or is it always in a supplement?
It does come in certain foods, and if I remember correctly, it's mostly in vegetable-based foods. So if you go and look, you Google selenium, it'll tell you a good source of them. But it does come in supplement form as well. So. But definitely, if you go through and find any of these, that's why we go back to this slide. A lot of these nutrients that we're seeing on this slide, if you eat this way, you're going to be getting a lot of them. A lot of people choose not to eat this way. Sometimes they still need a little bit more than this can give them, especially for people who are immune suppressed, immune compromised, or people who have other problems going on that kind of underlying. We need to do a little bit more of this sometimes, and that's kind of where you can consult with the doctor and get a little bit more information as to whether or not it's necessary or not. So, okay. Yes.
How many grams of vitamin C do you think one should supplement daily?